So today, my thoughts come from our nice lawn chair, our gym-sponsored lawn chair here. And what I've been thinking a lot about recently is how important the little details are, okay? So, to kind of explain myself and what I really mean by that, it doesn't really matter what you're trying to do, whatever avenue you're trying to actually be great in and excel in, the culmination or the accumulation of little details done right, added up over time, ultimately is what a big determining factor of where you wind up at the end of the road, okay? So, there's a lot, and obviously we'll make a workout example of this because that's easy to conceptualize and easy to think about, but there's a lot that goes into what you get out of a workout program that's not just what is actually written on the work paper, okay? And I actually had this conversation with one of our athletes yesterday. For some people, it's really easy to get into the gym and work out because maybe the mentality around it's a little bit easier to get into, it's a little bit easier to go hard in the gym. But then they kind of miss the little details of, are they eating enough? Are they drinking enough water? Are they sleeping? Are they recovering enough? Okay? And that ultimately will hold them back and hold the amount of success that they get out of a program, reduce the amount of success they get out of a program because they're not paying attention to those little details or what seems to be little details, okay? So the best way I've heard it described is that if you were shooting a target, okay, you were 10 feet away from the target, okay, and you missed the bullseye by like an inch, okay, you would still hit the target and it would be a pretty good shot, okay? Now, say you're a sniper and you're shooting a target that's a mile away from you and you miss by an inch, that bullet's going to be nowhere close to the target that you were trying to hit because it has so much more time to deviate off the path, okay? Think about that when it comes to the little details of what you get out of a program or what you get out of anything, that the amount of effort that you put into something. Say, every day, if you miss a little detail, that's the equivalent of missing the target when you're 10 feet away, okay? But you still kind of hit it. You still have a good day. However, over a period of time, those missing of those little details accumulate, and then it leads to being way off from your ultimate long-term goal, whereas if you had been on point from day to day, you would have hit your long-term goal and your long-term outcome. So not paying attention to those little details might not seem like a big deal in the short term, but it makes a really, really big difference in the long term, okay? Now, I'm gonna give you a couple examples. So, since I'm a one-man camera crew here, production value small, but that's okay. So do you see that program that's up on the wall? We've got a couple programs on the desk, have one on the floor. Those are all going up on the wall in a second. We've got a plate out, okay? Got a weight out. Got a band left out. Don't worry, those will all get put away in a little bit. Now, why do I show you those, again, seemingly insignificant things to get this point across? If you're the type of person who doesn't pay attention to things that are going around you enough to remember to put your weights back, to remember to put your programs back, that sort of attitude is reflected not only throughout the workout, but also in those little details that you're supposed to take care of outside of the gym, like you're eating, you're sleeping, and you're drinking enough water, okay? If you are not the type of person to pay attention to what's going on around you enough to put your program away, there's really no way that I'm going to be able to trust you to strictly adhere to a meal plan, okay? Or or to even, it might even go as far as like actually showing up to the gym every day. The little details of just consistency, okay? All of that stuff adds up in the long run, and it's reflective of how much effort and attention you actually put into this, okay? So, this is not just a call to make sure that you're cleaning up your weights. This is not just a call to make sure that you're putting your program away at the end of the day, even though you should be doing those. But the reason why you should be doing those is because that shows that you're responsible enough to listen to what Rick and I tell you, so that you can take that mindset into paying attention to the little details outside of the gym and the little details of how you're moving and how you're actually executing a workout that add up in the long run, that ultimately lead to you hitting your goal or being way off the target by the time you're trying to get a scholarship, graduating from college, maybe being done with athletics, maybe, going on to another sport afterwards. Doesn't matter, okay? And if you're not consistent in here and you don't develop that discipline, the discipline to pay attention to the things around you, then that is reflected in other avenues in your life. You might not be paying attention to little details at your job that could ultimately get you ahead. Or you might not be paying attention to little details that are happening in the relationships around you, which again might be no problem in the short term, but in the long term leads to some big relationship problems, okay? Little details add up over time and can make or break your long-term goals. So really start to look and consistently assess where you can be paying more attention to those little details. See you later. Go get strong. Go do something cool. Go make yourself a better person than you were yesterday.